Good now, revolutionaries, and welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show. Today is Monday, March 16th, and this is your place for helpful crypto news, commentary, answers to your questions, and so much more. It's happening live Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, or wherever you are, whenever you happen to listen. I'm talking about the internet, baby. Our show lives 24/7.
Check it out.
Hot on the streets. Hot on the streets, this internet.
It's a big truck coming to a town near you. Community.rumshq.com is our address on the internet. We would love to see you there. We got so much there. We're going to tell you all about it. But first, we got some stories for you, and I got to check on my friends. How you guys doing? Did you have a good weekend?
Oh, it was a great weekend. It was so nice. I've been. The stress levels were high, and this weekend I went up to Maine and just got some skiing in. Conditions weren't great Saturday, but they were perfect Sunday morning. And I got out early Sunday morning because I was like, no, before I get on the road and drive back to Boston, I got to get a couple runs in. And just had the first, I don't know how to describe it. I've had a similar feeling only ever doing one other thing, and that was riding a motorcycle. So Alex, you'll be able to relate. And it's that feeling where you're just like on a road alone on a bike and you're just cruising. Same thing. I was perfect conditions, perfect day. I'm on the skis and just got that first carve in, and it was just like all of just like the stress in that one turn and that one carve and that one crunch just went away. And for a moment I could just breathe and I was free, man. And it was great. And I got to the end of that and I was like, oh, 9 hours in the car up and back from Maine, worth it for that one run. It was so good.
That's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah, exactly what I needed. So that was my weekend, and I feel way better. Today's the best morning I've felt in like 2 weeks, so it's great.
And Alex, you got like walled in by a St. Patrick's Day parade, which I was surprised that you seem to enjoy so much, because that seems like kind of hellish.
Listen, enjoy is a strong word, but it's fine. But yeah, so I live on the parade route. Not on the route, like as in they drive past my house, but I live on the corner that the entire parade for every parade on this island stages. And so the parade started at 3. These motherfuckers showed up. I'm using my one for the show.
You're one.
Right there. They showed up like 4 or 5 hours before the parade starts. And it's just... Okay, so this parade was almost exclusively the Shriners. It was like 25 different Shriner chapters. All of them have a school bus, and all of them have the biggest sound system you've ever seen, and all of them were playing between like 90s and early 2000s, like high school dance era music with like the occasional Dropkick Murphys, or, you know, Shipping Out to Boston would come out like once every 10 or 15 songs. And yeah, they just all parked in a ring around my house, all playing all their music at the same time, and it was pure chaos and overload. But it's cool because you can like stand up on my porch and you can like see all everything getting ready. And then of course, because it's a Tybee parade, doesn't matter that it's St. Patty's Day, the pirates were all out. So like the huge driving pirate ship was out, and all the pirates were all over the place, and they were all like they all dyed their beards green, so it was basically just like green tinted pirates. It's pretty much the vibe. Yeah.
I like that. I like to think that there's pirates at every single, and not think, but know that there are pirates at every single holiday event. So you just have like green pirates, red Santa pirates, black, orange Halloween pirates, although pirates can just be pirates on Halloween, pink, red Valentine's Day pirates, you know?
Yeah.
Sharing love for the booty, you know? It's great.
No, at every Tybee event, there are pirates.
I'm getting flashbacks of like those commercials where it's like, there are heroes that walk among you. And it's like nurses, firefighters, teachers, but it's just, there are pirates that walk among you. You know, like somebody like goes home, closes the door to his bathroom, starts dyeing his beard and like donning a tricorn hat.
No, dude, listen, this was the funniest thing I've ever heard on a PA system. Cause like one of the Shriners who was like the head Shriner, like the first Shriner bus that goes out. He had this PA system. He was like trying to organize everybody, and Christina's friend, John, who lives in Savannah, just 20 minutes away, was texting, basically asking like, where are the pirates? Do you guys see any pirates? Because we're telling him the parade's staging, and he's very concerned about the presence of pirates. And and we hadn't seen the pirates yet, and all of a sudden you just hear it because the biggest sound system is on the drivable pirate ship that lives on this island that drives in every parade.
Naturally.
And all of a sudden it pulls up and all these pirates spill out, and then you just hear on the PA system, like, if I can get all the pirates over towards Pavilion 1, that would be great. All the pirates to Pavilion 1. And we're just like, there they are. She had to text him back and say, oh, never mind. Pirates are here.
Oh my gosh.
Just for the record, these are not guys who like put on a little, like a, Dollar General kind of pirate costume. These are guys who you look at them and like, you just came off of a ship that you haven't left for the past 8 months. Like, this is your whole personality. They go
smell like
so
bird poop
hard.
and scurvy.
Yeah, listen, we don't fuck around. Sorry, damn it.
Mine.
Yeah,
the pirates are everywhere and they take it very seriously.
When talking about pirates, you can swear more. I feel
Yar. Yeah. Tori said leprechaun pirates. Bearded said Cupid pirates. Just imagine. Imagine. And if you've got a question about pirates,
this is the
heroes walking among us, cryptocurrency, or anything else, then let us know in the comments. You can leave us a question from the future. If you're in the future, hello. We hope your candles are green. And speaking of green candles, the first question comes rolling in from SHQIP Tear. Is there anything stopping the bottom for Bitcoin being in, which seems like a great way to transition to get a little market update? Will, there's plenty that happened over the weekend with regard to price action, and I would love it if you would do what you always do, make the complex clear for us, and tell us a little more about the macro picture, the macro moment we find ourselves in. And in fact, if you can't get enough of this from Will, you have a whole show dedicated to this topic. Come back tonight for Rise Up Market Watch. Will and Doug are going to go through all the answers to your questions about the macro factors that make markets, including crypto markets, work. But I know you said you wanted to touch Bitcoin, and that's what people are asking about. So Will, take it away, my friend. What are you seeing in the tea leaves today?
Yeah, so we're seeing some really good things for Bitcoin on the weekly time frame. So I'll bring up my screen here, and let's see. Here we go. Lovely. Y'all can see my screen. Yes.
Yes, here comes a screen share. Except for people in podcast land who've got to go to YouTube. Search the Rise Up Morning Show. You'll find it.
I'll do my best to label out the prices. Okay, so the weekly chart for Bitcoin. Before I dive into this, there is always a temptation for new traders in particular to look at the 15-minute, the hourly, the 4-hour, the 8-hour, and the 1 day. And I spend time looking at those timeframes as well, but never when it comes to me answering the question, what is really happening in the market? When you ask yourself the question, what is really happening in the market, you want to look at longer term timeframes because they cut out the noise. The weekly chart, the monthly chart, and when you're looking at Bitcoin, something that has history going back, 12, 14 years now, the 3-month chart as well. Always start at the longest time frame, go down to the weekly and stop there. And then you'll have your question answered. All right, are we bullish? Are we bearish? What's really happening here? Because those trends in the long-term timeframes dictate what will happen on the daily and those hourly timeframes. Okay, so we're looking at the weekly timeframe here because we have some really exciting things happening. That exciting thing was this big old green candle that closed last night, which was March 15th. And the thing that's exciting about this is we have a strong, confident break above the 200-week exponential moving average. And now for the past few weeks, we've been in what I have called our golden pocket, where historically, if you buy Bitcoin during this time, you're going to be in a really good position a number of months down the line. And we first got into this range at the beginning of February, and we've just exited it right now, last week. And so this confident move to the upside, breaking above the 200-week exponential moving average, is a sign to us that we are most likely here for a rally. Even if we come down this week, as long as we're above $68,738, we're looking for a rally territory here. So that's what we're seeing for Bitcoin on the weekly chart. And there was a fake out that happened on Friday. So this is a perfect example of going from weekly. We see this, we go, okay, cool, things look great. And then we go to the daily time frame. And the daily time frame, we saw something that a lot of people were a little scared about. And I was like, hey, you probably shouldn't be that scared about. It's probably a fake out. And that was this candle here. So let me just scroll this here, and let's just say that, we are just kind of working with this. So if you look at this purely, we see a double top of sorts that happened here. A double top with a strong wick to the downside. That might make a lot of people go, oh no, we're about to roll over. Look, this is really bearish here. We got slammed down from the 55-day EMA. This is a double top. That's a bearish setup. A double top with a long wick to the downside. Bears really came in and beat up the bulls. We're about to roll over. But if you're just paying attention to this and not paying attention to the weekly chart, you're missing the big picture, which is things were still really bullish for Bitcoin, even with that wick down. And what caused this wick was a single news-driven event, and that was the bombing of the island of Kharg in Iran. And the island of Kharg is responsible for 90% of the oil development out of Iran. It's called their crown jewel, and it is responsible for 2% of the entire globe's oil supply. It's a huge deal, and it's a small island to be responsible for a lot. So it was a macro fear that this was just going to cause mayhem. It was a single dip down, but that was a single dip down in this big green bucket that we're seeing on the weekly chart. And that should tell you, okay, this news-driven event, probably not something I should really be paying attention to. And this is one thing that a lot of people will say as well, is what is the point of technical analysis if we are held hostage by tweets from the president, war, or some other kind of really noisy thing that could happen and immediately change up the market like it did on this? Look at the weekly and look at the monthly, because those are so strong and so macro, meaning large, that they do not get shaken by a single tweet. Okay, so that's what we're looking at here on Bitcoin, and things are looking really, really nice. And on the daily time frame as well, and then we'll pause, we're right up against the 55-day exponential moving average, sitting exactly at $73,501 as of right now, so 73.5K. And if we can turn that into support today, we have a clear shot upwards to try to start to challenge about $87,000 potentially. We can use a few other indicators here, like our imbalance indicator that show fair value gaps, which, you see these empty candles here on the chart that aren't solid. This is an indication of where price is likely to go in the future to fill these gaps, right? We can talk more about what they mean later tonight during Market Watch. And so that is also showing us that, hey, Bitcoin might even want to go up to something like $87,000 or so. But again, we want to, make sure we understand where all the lines of resistance are. And if we zoom out, we can see that there is a line of resistance starting from October all the way down to where we are today. And so we have a rally potential here for Bitcoin, but maybe it gets shut down a little early at 80,000. And so from a bearish to bullish scenario for this bull move, if we get a confirmed hold of this resistance and turn it into support at 73.5K, you have a move up to about $79,000 or so. If it gets above that, you have a move up to about $87,000 or so, okay? So those are the key levels to look at moving forward. And all of this is being driven by what we're seeing on the weekly chart. And as you look at the noise here on the daily, you can think in your head, we just got some really good bullish confirmation here on the weekly chart. So what I'm seeing on the daily chart is I'm probably leaning towards the more bullish scenario happening. But as an investor and a trader, I need to manage my risk. So as we start to head up towards these initial resistance points, I'm taking profits, okay? I do not allow myself be greedy. I take some profits as we meet some resistance. If we break above it, I count my lucky day, I still have some, and I sell more, okay? And so that is what we're looking at for Bitcoin at this current point in time.
Excellent, thank you. Will, we do have some questions, including this one from our questioner, originaire. If Bitcoin gets to 88K, how do I calculate or estimate what Ethereum goes to? Am I correct that I'm hearing you say it's less helpful maybe to try and figure out targets so much as it is to, on each time frame, figure out direction and momentum and act accordingly? What would you say to that?
I would say it's impossible to have like I guess I could give a general rule of thumb, but like it's not really a good practice. A general rule of thumb that I would use just for super lazy calculation would be like, hey, if Bitcoin goes up to 88,000, or let's be even more conservative. If Bitcoin goes up to 79,000, that's an 8.7% move, right? That's not crazy, And that would be something like a 15%, like just double it for like an Ethereum or Solana, just double it for something like that. For something lower down that's a little bit more risky, let's just say like the meme coins get hot again, and you have your Doge and your Pepe or whatever. You could have something maybe triple that. So 3 times 8, 24. Maybe it could go up 24 or 20, 25% or something like that, right? General rules of thumb. Okay, if you want like a quick lazy calculation, but if you really want to, you do need to go to the chart. If you see bullishness on Bitcoin, then I go, okay, I should go spend some time looking at the altcoin charts, because if I don't see bullishness on the Bitcoin chart, I'm not looking at Ethereum, I'm not looking at Solana, I'm not really looking at much. I need to see bullishness on Bitcoin, and then I'll go and I'll find price targets for my Ethereums and Solanas, because like their charts might be slightly different. That general rule of thumb isn't, it's a very broad stroke. It's not really using a scalpel to get very strategic on anything. And I want to still find ranges for me to sell in, even if it's below that, 20% or, whatever those ranges were I said. So there's a general rule of thumb you can use, yes, but it's not something to really set your strategy on, in my opinion. If that makes sense. I hope I answered the question.
No, it's a perfect answer. And I would just add to that person that it's a case-by-case thing, and it changes with the seasons, like a soap opera or a good reality TV show. This last season, for example, of Ethereum price action, and we'll talk a little about this later, has been a little muted compared to what historically it has been. Like, I would agree with that. Double it and give it to the next person. If Bitcoin rose 8.5%, maybe ETH will go up 15%. But I feel like lately it's like ETH is becoming less volatile and more of a, $2,000 stable coin.
Yeah, it was this last year, but remember there were some changes that were done to Ethereum. So when things get bullish this year or this next bull run, and I want to put a caveat in, I don't know if this is the bottom yet for Bitcoin. Sure. I do not know if 60.2K was the bottom. I'm just seeing an opportunity here for a rally upwards. Whether it's the bottom or not, only time will tell, right? And I'm not going to try to call the bottom unless I get some very clear formation on like the weekly, monthly, like a clear double bottom or a clear higher low on the weekly and monthly charts. And we're gonna have to, wait a little bit in order to see if that happens. Okay, so maybe we go lower, maybe we don't, but a rally here. Now, to what you were saying before, which was, remind me again?
About the seasonality of price movement,
right?
And how Ethereum has been less volatile lately this last season.
This last cycle, Ethereum was a stable coin for a really long period of time, but there were changes. So I forget the name of the recent upgrade for Ethereum. What was it again?
Fusaka.
It was Fusaka, and there's another one, Hagoda, but I've heard people call it Hagoda. Yeah.
But the thing is now Ethereum will be burned in accordance to layer 2 activity. So now layer 2 activity, which is where most of the activity for Ethereum, it wasn't really driving natural demand for the ETH token that much, because like demand for ETH was super cheap. So even though Ethereum's getting used more, the natural demand for Ethereum, removing Ethereum for utilitarian purposes to pay for gas fees, it was kind of going down. But now the activity on layer 2 will have a much larger burn of ETH tokens than before. And the natural utility and adoption of these layer 2s is only going up. And so now in this next bull run, whether we're starting it now or it's in a number of months, 5 or 6 months still from now, we'll see. Ethereum should be much hotter because it will have a much higher burn rate. So that is something to potentially expect to see a change for Ethereum moving forward.
Okay, I hadn't planned to talk about it, but this could be the moment we introduce the Ethereum Foundation's mandate. Do you want to do it, Alex, or are you prepped it? So for people who don't know, Unchained said it this way in their newsletter, that the Ethereum Foundation codifies its own obsolescence in a new mandate. This is a 38-page document, lots of data, also lots of vibes, explaining why this is, in fact, the point. That Vitalik Buterin wants to do what he calls a walkaway test, which is the idea that Ethereum should function perfectly even if the foundation and its current developers were to vanish entirely tomorrow. At the document's core, there are 4 non-negotiable properties the foundation says that they need to guide all protocol decisions. They call them crops. We love a good acronym. Censorship resistance, open source, privacy, security, crops. These are not aspirations, they are preconditions. This is the indivisible value-based whole that no development priority, they say, should override. And this is just a couple of weeks after Tomasz Stanchek, one of the co-executive directors, has stepped down to return to active building. Xiaowei Wang and Bastian Au, apologies to both of you if I've mispronounced your names, are directing the organization. There's been some frustration from the community, but I've seen a mixed good response. And I'm curious to know, Alex, what are you thinking about it? Right move, wrong move? Clear.
My immediate reflex to a foundation like this one wanting to try and codify the fact that like this thing has no reason to fail if the foundation isn't there so much is a good thing. I think the way that it's received is maybe one thing. I think prepping ahead of time is a good thing. I think that the people who are upset maybe reading too much into it and saying like this is, and you know, I could be wrong, that you know, this is like step one of them saying like, man, screw this, we're out of here. And I didn't really get that vibe. What I get is like, hey, if this thing is supposed to be truly centralized, you know, we're seeing too much dependence on the EF, you know, as an entity to drive like the way that the public sentiment is shifting about Ethereum. And I think that honestly, it kind of makes sense that this came out now, because recently there have been a few things like, you know, op-ed style posts or articles or blogs or whatever from Vitalik that have been received poorly, just because people have a difference of opinion with him. And I think that, you know, perhaps it makes sense, but it kind of tracks for me that the EF would want to work on deliberately creating distance between individual contributors, even one so high profile as Vitalik, and the EF itself, and Ethereum, the ecosystem, the blockchain, the place where all this stuff happens. Because at the end of the day, the EF matters, but not so much so, you know, where everyone needs to let their entire opinion and sentiment around Ethereum as an ecosystem depend on whatever the last opinion that came out of a core contributor or series of contributors is. So in my head, this is good. It's good that it feels like proactivity to me. And I think that it's kind of indicative of, I don't know, reading the tea leaves that like, hey, whenever we look around the crypto space, we see all of these instances wherein someone very high profile really does have an outsized amount of influence over the perception, sentiment, price, valuation, whatever, of an entire ecosystem when perhaps they shouldn't. So overall, my response to this at this point is I like to see it.
We love to see it. If you want to see the report yourself in all its 38-page glory, you can honestly just Google Ethereum Foundation mandate. We'll link to it in the community. I do think it's a little odd that you have somebody like Vitalik, who one of our friends said does not want to embrace his desire to be a celebrity, and you have a whole 38-page mandate coming from people who ultimately say we don't want to be the ones making mandates. It's interesting, and time will tell what happens. A question comes in from our friend and chief fact check officer Bearded, who wants to know if we can explain Glamsterdam. This is Ethereum's upcoming hard fork, and it might be the very best name they've come up with yet. It's a combination, a portmanteau of Amsterdam, and it's not Glasgow, but it's something else like that. Mm-hmm. Somebody fact check me. Maybe Bearded, in fact, you can fact check me.
Don't come for me.
But it's a hard fork, and it has to do with block space. Do you know more about it at this time, Alex?
Yeah, it's intended to increase MEV fairness, and we've been seeing a lot more instances of MEV. Actually, we're going to get into that with the Aave swap drama that happened over the weekend. Of course, like literally 20 minutes after the final show of the week wrap, all this stuff started unfolding, which is just so typical. But that was MEV related. That's where most of the money ended up going. So that's about what I know about it. That it's intended to increase fairness around there, and then there's some stuff about every major Ethereum upgrade also has a component of network efficiency increase, and then there's a couple other things in there, concerns about censorship resistance and stuff like that. But yeah, that's the primary driver.
We want to touch some news about the upcoming. We wanted to touch some news about the temporary CBDC ban. The stalling of clarity in the Senate, of course, the $50 million fiasco. We've got a Katana update that we need to give you. But first, I think it's important that we address the elephant in the room. Everybody is wearing black today. And I notice you guys have the same coffee cups as me. And that is because we are pleased to tell you, so pleased, my friends, that we have renewed our partnership with friends of the show, sponsors, Arculus. If you don't know about Arculus, have I got some cool news for you. Arculus is the official cold wallet sponsor of the Rise Up Morning Show. And it is the cold wallet sponsor because we find it not only secure, simple, but their support, it's fantastic. Arculus is at getarculus.com or at thisisarculus on all socials. And did you know, last time we did this, we had 2 different codes for like different places, but did you know they have unified our code? If you go to Arculus's website or any of their social pages, you can get an Arculus wallet 10% off by typing in ARC, A-R-C, U like the letter, RUMS, R-U-M-S 10, ARC-U RUMS 10 to get 10% off. They also have discounts for active and former military and other stuff too. It's a great product. If you're thinking about cold storage, if you've got more money in crypto than you'd like to lose, then we would encourage you to check out Arculus. Yes?
I was just going to say, like, this has nothing to do with the quality of well, it kind of does, but not really. Like the quality of the product or, why I like this one or the UX or whatever. But like on the side, it is my favorite like brand kit for a cold wallet. I feel like so many of them have these like clunky name. I love a good brand. I like it when it's put together nicely and it feels clean and packaged. And that was my first. I think Trezor also it would get like a brand shout out for me, but Arculus, I just like the vibe, Yeah.
They have a good vibe, and they've got now the XRP edition. They're releasing more and more.
You got to stop having that be the one that gets held up.
Well,
we're working one.
We are in contact with the manufacturing team there, and they are excellent. The sales division, the manufacturing division, we've been telling you for a long time, the purple wallet is coming, and it turns out a custom wallet, it requires a lot of lift, and they've been really helpful to go over all the different concerns and considerations, and we will have an update on that for you soon, but it will be just a few more weeks that if you don't want an XRP wallet or you don't want the plain Jane black and silver Arculus, you can get the purple wallet we've been talking about forever, featuring your friends from the Rise Up Morning Show.
What comment is?
I'll also.
Oh no!
I also just
Evan
want to say, go ahead.
The comment from Timmy. Oh no! Evan is now a UGC creator equivalent, and so I did want to just re-welcome everyone to Rise Up, a QVC affiliate, and your new favorite home for hawking stuff on the internet. So
next week's show.
Yeah. Go ahead, Will. Did you buy the top and now you have to hold to this long term, but you're going to tell everybody that you're a strategic long-term investor? Well, nay, it looks like it's time for you.
Boy, do we have the product for you.
Boy, do we have a product for you. Hardware wallet. And it actually is truly a great. I will say this as someone who used Ledger. I used Ledger products since 2017. since 2017 up until, I don't know, a year ago or so. And I genuinely switched to Arculus because I first got the Arculus card and I was like, okay, cool, whatever. And then like Ledger was like, hey, we're getting rid of like, we're stopping support of our old ones. And I was like, gosh, I kind of have to make a switch here. And so I bought a new Ledger and I was like, okay. But the thing is when I found out that on Arculus, there's no firmware to update, I cannot possibly explain to you when I have the overwhelming majority of my net worth in Bitcoin. And it's like, and I have this wallet, even though I know I can get another wallet and I have, you know, the codes, the phrases, and I can just like import it in, right? But I have it here and it's updating the software on it. And I'm just like, I hope it still works. I hope it still works. What if it causes problems and other things? And like, I don't know enough about it. Like, I'm not a tech person. Like, what if this causes problems when I send something or send something to it? Or like the amount of anxiety when my Ledger would update its firmware. Oh, I can possibly tell you how nervous it would make me. And so now with Arculus, I don't have any firmware to update. It just works. I get the thing and it just works. And I don't have to have that anxiety-inducing moment. And when I had that conversation with DJ Willie Quiggs, the co-founder of Tether and also Wax here on the show, William Quigley.
Petition to only call him that from
DJ Willie Quiggs. Yeah, exactly.
In serious conversation too. Yeah,
and I brought it up with him too. He was like, dude, I felt so validated being so anxious driven, particularly by somebody as like veteran in the crypto space as him. And I consider myself one as well, but like by him, he's just at another level, I feel like. And to have him be like, dude, my heart also just like every single time my Ledger would just have a firmware update. And I was like, yes, that's a thing. And now Arculus doesn't happen. And it's just like, okay, gone. I don't have to deal with that anymore. That's so nice.
It's so nice. We do have a couple of comments and questions that we'll run through. Caveman, good to see you, friend of the show. Wants to know if you guys have any problems with phone cases. Specifically, he has a hard time with OtterBox, which I haven't used in a couple of years, but I use the magnetized ones, and I find it works okay, but it definitely works better if I take it off. Alex?
Yeah, it depends on the phone. So like Android phones typically have their chip reader in the middle of the back versus iPhone typically having them higher up. So sometimes I've noticed that it's more about placement. So if you have something on the back of a phone case, like a foldable stand, or like the big ring, or just like a thicker, or depending like where your phone's camera bump is, if like that has, some have like privacy shutters that can go over, the rear facing cameras and stuff, maybe. But you would be able to test that with other NFC related stuff, like try a tap to pay and see if it works easily with your phone, that kind of stuff. You could test all that before you were to get a wallet, and then you'd be able to know whether or not it's going to give you a problem. If you can tap to pay easily through your phone case, you can do this easily through your phone case. It's the exact same mechanism.
Yeah. Orthodoxy says, I am totally sold on Arculus. Thanks to Arculus for supporting great educational crypto content. We really appreciate you and cannot wait to start sharing the Purple Wallet with you soon. We're going to have a few different dedicated lives, at least one a month, to help you understand cold storage, sponsored by Arculus, but we'll be glad to cover your crypto cold storage questions. Like Captain Kirk asks, any thoughts and input on cold card wallets? I haven't used that one personally, but we're always looking to test. We got a new one, the Ballet wallet, sent by a friend of the show, technically Web3, as a little Christmas present with some Bitcoin. So if you've got a wallet that you want us to test out, give our feedback on, we would love to hear about it. On the way out of this segment, I will say I just learned today why it is called Arculus. You guys want to take a guess? Do you happen to know?
I feel like I've heard this before, but I don't remember.
I seem to recall them telling us this, but they have reminded me again via their website that ancient Romans called on Arculus, the god of safes and strong boxes, to ensure the protection of their cherished possessions. Today, Arculus is the contemporary incarnation of this vigilant deity, safeguarding your critical digital assets and identity. Very cool. And backed by CompoSecure, can you get more bullish? A legitimate company, not some guy in his mom's basement selling you a hardware wallet.
So by buying the hardware wallet by Arculus, I support the old gods. Perfect. Beautiful. That's what I took from that. Support the old gods. Woo!
Oh my God, Alex, you got to read this comment out loud for the people in podcast land. Let me hear it.
Bearded goes, Radio Dan asks, what is the chosen wallet of pirates? And Obviously, it's Arculus.
Wait, there's a skit. Wait, we can make a skit about that. There's a skit.
Just wait
there's
for
a
Pirate
huge
Fest.
skit. The next
There's a
time we're together
huge
for
skit.
Pirate Fest in Tybee Island, we are making Arculus a commercial.
Wait, no, we have to.
I will literally go talk to the man who drives the bus pirate ship about an Arculus banner on the pirate ship.
You have just given me an excuse that I needed to buy a pirate costume, which I do not have.
First of all, it makes no sense at all that you do not already have no one who has
I have a pirate hat. But I don't have the full costume. That's the thing.
Yeah, okay. So that would be amazing. They say, can you imagine? Maybe we could get the inventor of Arculus, chief product officer, very serious entrepreneur, Dr. Adam Lowe,
dressed as a pirate, hammered on a large pirate ship on Tybee Island.
Yes.
Yeah, can we go ahead and text them about that and get that in motion? He has until October to get his pirate outfit.
Right. We know that after a great couple of first and second round interviews, you really are looking forward to coming back. And we wanted to sweeten the deal by inviting you to do it dressed as a pirate. Have you got any pantaloons?
Right.
If not, don't worry. I have several pairs.
Hello.
Right. Exactly. Pirate skit on my to-do list.
Okay. All right. Okay.
On a slightly more serious note, just before we move on from the whole cold wallet thing, I did want to just point out, because if anyone like me has ever been a Trezor user in the past, you may have received about 18 emails in the past week, and also mail addressed to you in the human, physical paper mail that arrived to your house from Trezor. I, by default, ignore every piece of communication that comes into my email or DMs or apparently now also my house about hardware wallets, because Ledger famously has had a number of data breaches where user information has been leaked and stolen and whatever. And so you're knowing that you are a customer of these things makes you the target of scams. So I just wanted to say, even with this one, even if all of it is legit, this Trezor debacle, you're not going to miss anything by ignoring literally all of it. So make that the habit, make that the default, that you don't get that communication, that email, that letter in the mail, which I'm still reeling about, and do something with it. You don't need to go, upload your seed phrase somewhere, or confirm that it works, or connect your wallet to something, or secure it over here instead. Literally, I think I've gotten a dozen emails from Trezor about security problems and whatever over the past couple weeks or so. And I never did anything. I immediately deleted every email. Don't even know for sure if they were all from Trezor. I honestly don't care. It's way too sketchy. I don't touch stuff like that. So anyway, that was a moment. So just be aware in case you also got all that kind of stuff. I don't think you guys were ever Trezor users, but this has been all over the place the past couple weeks.
I've seen it and touched it and seen several tutorials on the device and that kind of thing, but I haven't used it with my crypto money. I do want to actually touch this last question from Boosh, friend of the show, before we move on to the $50 million fiasco, because that's a great story. Asking if I completely trust Coinbase or Kraken or whatever wallet or exchange I'm currently using to custody my crypto, do I really need cold storage? And I would say the answer is no, you don't need it. And some people may not even have the option to use it. If you're just buying Bitcoin in an ETF, then that doesn't really apply to you. However, we think everybody should understand the option because it's novel. Never before has it been possible to directly own a piece of digital information on the internet. Now, the technology that makes cryptocurrency possible, blockchains, cryptography, tokens, allow you as an individual to directly own pieces of digital information that represent things that matter to you, like your money. So just having the option is important. In a world where mostly we rely on bankers, governments, other powerful intermediaries who can choose to move against you and whose interests are not aligned with yours. Not that you need to be a sensationalist or lose sleep at night, but because you have the option, wouldn't you like to explore it to see if it's right for you? Anything to add on that, guys?
Just want to catch this comment before it gets lost from
Please.
Sonia, who says she has an Arculus card and needs help moving crypto from Uphold to Arculus. So I just wanted to highlight this because the second you posted that comment, you became a target.
Yep.
So just wanted to make you aware that it would not be weird for you to receive a DM or 2 or 15.
Yeah.
If that happens, it may not. It may. It really depends who sees it. But whenever you say something like that on the internet, like on a public forum, oftentimes what that does is it can transmit to bad actors that you might be a softer target for someone who, okay, you get them every day. Great. Fantastic. So you're used to it.
Sorry, Sonia.
Okay, great. But just wanted to point out that a good place, if you do have questions about how to set up these wallets or how to transfer things safely or what the receive interface looks like, what the UX process is like on mobile or whatever, the Rise Up Circle community is free to join, and that is a great place to ask questions. It's a little bit more sheltered. You don't have to worry so much about getting bombarded with spam comments and DMs and all that good stuff. If you're already in the habit of ignoring it, fantastic. But the Circle, which is community.rumshq.com, is a great place to pop in if you do have questions about it, and you're sick of trying to find them in comment sections.
That's excellent. And we do have helpful resources like Q&A. We can personally walk you through one-on-one how to set up a cold storage wallet, how to transfer your assets over. You could ask someone in the community. We've had classes on it. We've got recorded classes and a lot of other stuff. Will, I know you wanted to share that you've got some plans coming up for fun community goodness. Yeah?
Yeah. I think in 2 weeks from today during Market Watch, I think we can start the show off normally. Hey, here's the quick little market update and all that kind of stuff. But it's going to be another silly chart art competition. And so for those of you who do not remember the first one, in this, we take technical analysis and we make it silly. Anyone can pick any chart of any asset and you turn it into art. My example was taking the chart of, I forget what it was. I think it was Bitcoin. And I built a woolly mammoth fighting a dragon. And I then made a video talking about it. You don't need to make a video. But we then had, I think, about 20 or 25 or so people submit in for the opportunity to win $100 paid off in USDC to just make the silliest chart art that us three enjoyed and decided was the winner. And who ended up winning was, it was the chart of Avalanche, where Avalanche's gigantic, massive run in 2020, 2021 was Godzilla breathing down fire and destroying all future pumps that happened afterwards. It was like salty. It was the salty bag holder Godzilla, and it was magnifique. But there were some other truly amazing pieces of chart art there. So at the end of the month, so that is officially March 30th, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when Market Watch airs, we will have a silly chart art competition. I'll make a post about it in the Circle community. So again, go to community.rumshq.com, and I will have a place where you can submit your chart art. And it'll be $100 giveaway again. But if we have more than 30 people, let's do $100 for first place, $50 for second place, and then $25 for third place. So we'll see if we get over 30 submissions. And so that'll be that.
Who doesn't want to win Will's money?
Right.
I love it. And again, the place to go is community.rumshq.com. Once you get there, type a message in any channel. Let us know that you're new. Or if you're not new, let us know you're back. If you've been in the Discord and you're like, why aren't these guys posting in our community? It's because we moved over to a platform called Circle. All you got to know is community.rumshq.com. The only thing missing, my friends, is you. I saw a question about MEV, maximum extractable value, that we mentioned earlier with the ETH Foundation update. We are going to delay that to another show and perhaps even the show tomorrow, because did you guys know that friend of the show, Casey Craig, is coming back tomorrow? It has been, months since we've had Casey. I miss you, Casey, wherever you are. you got it. You got to tune in for that episode. Casey is the co-founder of Euphoria. We gave away some codes for their Tapathon, the Tap to Trade fun competition that they hosted before their mainnet launch. She's going to tell us all about that, and she is a great one to ask about MEV. She can make it simple. We've also got our friend Colleen McDonald coming back Wednesday, the Stand with Crypto Oklahoma chapter president, to talk with us a little about your questions at the intersection maybe of politics and policy. Rise Up After Dark is this Wednesday. Oh,
Evan, I do have to pause you just in case you're live on TikTok's about to get paused, but your screen went black.
Oh, terrible.
I just want to make sure we didn't get paused halfway. It's back now, yeah.
It's back.
Back, baby. If you want to see, I'm gonna post this graphic that Will's gonna show you in TikTok land, and if you're listening in podcast land, every week on all our socials, we're sharing this calendar of shows. Shout out to Matthew. Hope you're enjoying Malaga. We've also got Colleen McDonald, Stand with Crypto Oklahoma chapter president, coming Wednesday. Jay Jog, founder of Say Labs, better known as the architect of Say, coming Wednesday night for Rise Up After Dark. And then Jared Blake, head of product over at Crack. Yes, that Crack. Thursday morning on the Rise Up Morning Show. It's a really great roundup of guests. We cannot wait to have them to answer your questions. But bring your question about MEV back for Casey Craig, because I know she'll have it for you. Alex, I'd like to pivot now. To the news you called me about this weekend. Have you ever gotten nervous when you're sending a crypto transaction? You know, you got to send Bitcoin to your cold storage wallet for the first time, and it takes about 12 minutes, and you're just hoping and praying you put in the address right. Imagine you fat fingered or approved a swap you knew would take most of your value, and that value was millions of dollars. What happened? Read us into the story, because I'm starting to sweat, man.
Okay, so basically, what actually ended up happening, and then we'll get into the background, the behind the scenes in a second. But a user went via mobile through Aave's interface and attempted to execute a swap of Tether into Aave tokens. And they attempted to do this in a single transaction with $50 million in USDT.
Oh, no.
Which, before we even get into the rest, is monumentally stupid. And so immediately, like before I even read any further, I immediately thought that was just, it was honestly reminiscent of the times when someone who bought like a CryptoPunk or a Bored Ape for, $15 million accidentally sold it for $15 through OpenSea.
Yeah.
Like, it's just money laundering. Like, come on. I certainly do not believe, it's important that I state this is just my opinion. I don't think anybody is that stupid with $50 million, especially not when what happens so predictably and so perfectly. So I'm going to screen share here just a specific tweet about this. There's a lot, but this one kind of highlights some of the concerns that I specifically had and would like to flag. So effectively what happened is this person, whoever they are, went to execute a swap, and immediately they get hit with a warning. There's more than one warning, and they went through all of them and acknowledged every single one on the interface, and then still went and tried. So the first warning is price impact. They were basically attempting to buy 3% of the Aave token supply in one shot, which is, again, insane. And then also there was a massive slippage warning, and they had to set an unbelievably high slippage percentage, which is the amount that the price is allowed to move of a token before the swap will stop and cancel. And they set their slippage unbelievably high. I don't know exactly what percentage it was set at, but the end result of this was that they walked away with an average price paid per token that they ended up with of about $154,000. So at the end of this, they swapped $50 million worth of USDT, and they ended up with $36,000 worth of Aave, which is, pretty much lost all of it.
That is the largest single trade execution loss DeFi's ever seen.
Yes. And So where did the money go? Well, it went several places. So on its face, Aave itself as a protocol collected a nearly $600,000 fee, which Stani immediately posted that they were going to be returning in light of how this all went. The rest of it, so the protocol that facilitates the swap on Aave is a protocol called CowSwap. And I encourage you, even if you are not a big X user, CowSwap and Aave's primary Twitter accounts have both published a post-mortem on this, and they are interesting and good reads. The big takeaway here is that DeFi worked as it's supposed to. So I don't know exactly what everyone else is saying, but just for the record, even though I do believe there was nefarious intent behind the person who executed this swap, Aave and CowSwap did what they were programmed to do, and nothing was hacked, nothing was exploited, nobody got drained, nothing that like can't be explained by smart contract programming happened. And so at the end of the day, pretty much all of the money ended up going through this like this MEV tip system, and it was extracted. So the second that transaction, that $50 million attempted swap hits the mempool, which a mempool is like a waiting room for transactions that are waiting to go into a block and get formalized. But while they're sitting, this is why finality is important as a metric, by the way, for blockchain. So as the transaction is sitting there in the mempool, the first thing that happens is every bot that's sitting there watching the mempools and ready to execute what's called an MEV attack, colloquially maybe referred to as a sandwich attack or being front run, all fired off. And this single transaction was front run to kingdom come and back again. And millions upon tens of millions of dollars ended up going to these these MEV extractors through this thing. And the facilitator for that, I believe, was a facilitator known as, is it Titan? Where is it? Evan, you remember off the top of your head? It's Titan Swap or Titan something. Anyway, if you look up, I'll find it in a second. Anyway, so basically what happened, and it's highlighted right here. So in the exact same block that this was transacted, this MEV bot that we're talking about here basically flash loaned $30 million worth of ETH. And here we go. Evan, I'm going to take this down.
Take it over. We're doing a lot of screen sharing for people in podcast land. I do want you to, I'm going to explain it to you in a second.
I was going to say, what were we looking at before on that screen?
That was,
it was almost like a lava lamp type thing.
Yeah.
It is very therapeutic to look at. That was a visual representation of Bitcoin's mempool.
Yeah. And just to give you that visual metaphor for people in podcast land who are familiar with our magic notebook analogy, every blockchain validator or node operator has a copy of this notebook. But before they actually write with ink the order of transactions, they receive the transactions in that mempool waiting room. And you might imagine like a pencil version of the notebook page that represents each block in the blockchain. And all these transactions are coming in and out and in and out and in and out. And somebody who's going to try and do an MEV attack is watching the pencil notes and saying, look, somebody big is going to buy a lot of Bitcoin at this price. So I could borrow it perhaps from someone else to be the one to sell it to them, to undercut them, to get on this page with ink. Once the ink is written, it's very hard to undo. So people are scrambling, they're paying tips, they're incentivizing validators the way you might try to tip a cabbie at the airport to get into his cab before the next guy behind you. Yeah. Go ahead, Alex. So this is relevant.
We're talking about nearly $40 million that was extracted through two specific instances of this transaction being sandwiched. And so the first one is this MEV bot flash loan borrowing $30 million in wrapped ETH through Morpho, bought Aave at via Bancor here at fair value, and then dumped all of those tokens into the Sushi Swap pool that this big transaction then ended up getting routed into, which had almost no liquidity. So as the transaction was abused, because again, swapping $50 million in one shot is insane.
Nuts.
Then basically the transaction got kidnapped in the mempool, shunted over to a pool that had no liquidity, and then ultimately executed at the maximum slippage tolerance that was set. And for the record, all of the things that go into building a transaction when it goes into the mempool are publicly viewable. So people knew what the slippage was set to on this thing as they were looking at it.
Well,
so,
but to clarify, it's publicly viewable, but this is not like, your takeaway from this should not be like, oh snap, I've been doing this Bitcoin thing wrong, I'm going to go watch the mempool and try to take advantage. You don't have the tools to do it. This is like sophisticated, super, nerds in a computer cell somewhere.
It's like, robots. It's robots. It's not
exactly.
People. Yeah. So Titan Builder is the one I was looking for. They are an Ethereum block builder. They captured like 30 plus, I don't remember the exact number, but like more than $30 million in profit from building this. They're the ones that seem to have run the sandwich. There we go, 34 million. And then, almost immediately kicked that over to Coinbase. There's a lot of suspicious things about this. So that to me reads like, hey, we knew this was happening. I was prepared for it. Now it's possible also that they just got really lucky and caught this in like a, MEV scan and was like, oh, hell yeah. And I'm not taking any risk. I'm out of here with that. So, that's kind of one of the things there. So the transaction executes as designed. Couple suspicious things worth noting. This wallet that attempted this was funded through Binance within a few weeks before this swap happened, and it was a fresh wallet. So that immediately is suspicious.
Also suspicious.
Now, we've seen this happen in other instances in recent history. And again, this is speculation and conjecture. I'm kind of just connecting some dots that are a little bit sus and have been happening. We've been seeing this methodology, fresh wallet created, Binance funded, whenever we see US government related prediction market accounts getting paid out in high amounts.
Yeah.
So if someone creates a fresh wallet, funds it with Binance money, places a prediction market bet on something that the US government administration is going to do, and then inevitably that happens, and then they make a ton of money, that is a very similar setup to what happened here at a much larger scale. And so it's personally my suspicion that just because we've been seeing so many instances of aggressive insider trading coming out of the current US administration's cohort, that this could have been a laundering transaction, cleaning money that came out of a bunch of that kind of stuff, washing it from a Binance account into a Coinbase account by routing it through several different DeFi things and making it look like somebody got attacked, when nobody who has $50 million worth of any cryptocurrency, it would be unbelievably far-fetched for me to believe that someone with that kind of setup did not know how this was going to go, because the writing was on the wall. They breezed through the warnings. I honestly wholeheartedly reject all of the whiny little idiots on crypto Twitter who are like, this is Ave's fault. This should be more than a checkbox. It's like, okay, you're talking out of both sides of your mouth right now. How much control and centralization do you really want in DeFi? Do you want Ave to take a bigger stance in preventing you from doing a thing that you want in a timely fashion? Because like, hey man, that's the nature of DeFi. If you really wanted to do this, do you really want an instance where some major protocol or more than one is like, hold on there, buddy, are you sure you really want to do this? We're going to stop you from doing it and make you sit here and read an essay and click through this and take a test and do all. No, because had this gone the other way, and Aave had been in the way of someone taking advantage of something, we would be flaming Aave for getting in their way and not being DeFi and being centralized. So honestly, miss me with all that crap. It pisses me off to no end when people on crypto Twitter just like demonstrate that they have no idea how this works or don't give a shit. So I don't know. This thing reeks to high heaven, but not, to me at least so far, I don't see an indication that I'm concerned about like Aave or CowSwap in particular. I thought their postmortems were decent. I would read them. The Aave team is notoriously very unified in their public response whenever anything happens. So there's a lot of good accounts to read over there. But yeah, it's very interesting. This is a good example of something to get into if you would like to have a deeper understanding of how the behind the scenes stuff works and how many things we still have to work out. Because even though all of this is publicly available, what's not publicly available is intent. We can only really connect dots. And right now, this thing looks super suspicious.
I like this comment from Aaron Almighty, who says, so note to self, never sell it all in one transaction. Exactly. Thank you for playing. $50 million later. Goodbye.
Especially if it's $50 million.
Dude.
You just don't have liquidity for that.
Insane.
No. Yeah, it's insane. There's plenty more to talk about. If you've got a crypto question, let us know. Will, I know you have to get out of here in a couple minutes, but I'm going to try and squeeze this Katana story in while we've got you before we get to your headlines, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Because this is pretty important news. There has been a lot of dissatisfaction in and around the Katana community recently related to some updates that they have made in advance of their token generation event, or TGE. If you want to read their message to our community, that's what the post is titled. You can head over to x.com/Katana. I am not going to belabor the point and read this whole announcement to you, but I am going to just kind of let you know what some of the highlights are. So last year, Polygon incubated a DeFi protocol called Katana. The team spun out, launched a whole new thing to generate liquidity on demand for products across not just their ecosystem, but layer twos. It was supposed to be this flywheel solving the problem of fragmentation. That scenario Alex described where you have one protocol facilitating money movement and then another protocol that it's connected to facilitating the same movement. They all have to have access to liquidity. The same way that if you were, building pools around a lake to manage the level of the water, you'd need to have tunnels and dams to facilitate the transfer of liquid. These protocols got to talk to each other. Katana says we can solve that problem. And over the last year, they have been building with this message that DeFi deserves better liquidity. We're going to help you do it. And if you precede us, if you help fund us with initiatives like crates that many people will remember, we are going to give you an extra boosted yield in the form of our protocol's tokens. This is a tale as old as time in DeFi, which means for everything else, it's very new. But hopefully, if you've been around the space, you've had the chance to see this kind of thing. Recently, though, people are really upset because, kind of in a sneaky update, the Katana team, without much fanfare, has changed the terms around how their CAT tokens would be released. The whole year they've been saying that these tokens will be valued at around $1 based on $1 billion fully diluted value at the time the protocol launches. And now it's looking like, one, the token is going to be generated, what is this, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? That's what we're getting, March 18th. It looks like a variety of new incentives have been added for people who provided liquidity through Binance recently. It looks like the people who pre-deposited are not, in fact, getting a token that is valued at $1 billion, but is valued at a much lower rate. So folks who bought crates on Katana, exchanging $150 of ETH or USDC for 10 or 100 CAT tokens, are not, in fact, projected to get their money back. They're probably only going to get a few cents on the dollar back. They've been earning higher yields, but even those are potentially going to be erased by something like an 80% exit tax. They have these new timelines, right? They have these new timelines that they've announced and new rates that they've updated, going from like a 25% exit tax, which is a cost imposed on people who, when a token is launched, swap out of that token for something else. This is a way that people maintain liquidity, but they've raised that from 25% to 80%. Of course, it degrades over time so that if you hold on to it, you pay a lower fee. But that's the whole point. When the token is generated, everybody tends to sell to get some insurance, right? Recoup some of the money they've invested. And I heard one user on Twitter say, if you have to punish an exit, then you were never properly incentivizing people to keep their money with you in the first place.
Correct.
Katana says that they've sought feedback from users, from institutions, from other partners who advised us to optimize for the best possible launch. It just sounds like all the communication coming out of this organization is like, hey.
Who would have given advice like that? I'm sorry.
I don't know. That was our conversation this weekend. It's like, okay, this has gone from bad to worse to what the hell are you guys doing? Well, and now they're just justifying it. The crisis response here is terrible.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought was like, you know what? Okay, so I just have my nefarious hat on, especially after the whole Titan builder, like what looks like money laundering thing, just to say like, okay, did you punt the TG so that people would tune out and quit reading all of the stuff that you posted, thinking like, I'm going to have to wait forever so that you could sneak this dog shit update in and hope that it kind of flies a little bit under the wire while people are maybe still not paying super close attention? Like it's toddler behavior. It's just very poorly done. The rollout is awful. I'm supremely disappointed.
Yeah, fuck these people.
And it's like their explanation is correct in the sense of, they talk about like why they pushed it back, what they did, but when you disappoint people, they don't want to hear you. If I said to Kimberly, if I did something to disappoint Kimberly and then we had a fight and I went away and I came back and the first thing I said was, hey, I know you're disappointed, but here's why I did this disappointing thing and why you shouldn't be mad at me. Who in the history of humanity has ever done that and it's gone well for you?
It's called gaslighting.
Yeah.
And I just like, here's the thing. When the TGE initially got pushed, I understood. And I was like, yep, that tracks. Honestly, I would be tempted to do the same thing. Although I would personally have never been in the position where I was planning a TGE to begin with, because when have these things gone well? But, the exception to that rule should be a DeFi protocol that has properly incentivized people to use the thing because it went well. And the setup and the launch and the incubation of this thing, by all accounts, was done well. Like, it looked good. It looked like, okay, we have incentives in place. We have a long-term mindset being constructed and built. There's things are over here. It works. There are some UX improvements that could be, could be improved. The bridging experience is not good, but hey, it often isn't. Communication could be better. I'd like to see some better disclosures, all like easier things to address and work on. And then if you're gonna TGE, like this is kind of how I would say you do it, but then it just feels like the whole thing got lit on fire all of a sudden.
So the notes you need to know, if you are somebody who pre-deposited, like you bought crates, or you have been staking, you have been, I guess it's not technically staking because the network's really not, the token's not live yet. If you've been doing anything to generate yield through Katana, March 18th, the CAT tokens they have distributed to you will become transferable. And your VCAT tokens will also be swappable if, and I need to confirm this, depending on if you swap them out through SushiSwap or other places where there are liquidity, it might be available on Binance too. We're going to talk about this in the community if you have questions, because I know a lot of people pre-deposited. And so our priority is making sure that this goes live March 18th. It probably won't be worth a ton. And it's possible that in the future it'll be worth more, but everything we see makes us think that everybody's going to try and get the heck out of here because they're not happy about it. So if you have questions about how to redeem, we want you to bring those to the community so we can figure out how to do it together.
That's what's morbidly funny about the whole thing. And then Will, I know you got to jump, but basically just the idea that in order to this is my impression. This is how I read it personally. In a harebrained effort to bully people into staying, they're going to more rapidly just convince everyone to write this off as a loss and get the hell out of there. I think they just killed themselves.
Yeah, they did just kill themselves. They're gonna take their money and then they're gonna go off into the sunset or whatever, and that's it. Great, wonderful. So Katana's dead and will never be relevant ever. So
speaking of sunsets, do you want to give us a final thought, Will, before you ride your cats, cows, dogs, and ponies into the sunrise?
Yeah. So a couple things. U.S. Treasury Scott Bessent says that the U.S. is allowing Iranian oil tankers to pass through the Strait of Hormuz.
Hey.
So that will stabilize oil prices. Oil is already coming down right now. That'll also be good overall for markets too. So that's something from a macro standpoint that's happening. Something that is also consistent. Other than Alex wearing black or hot pink, you can also bet money that Michael Saylor will buy a lot of Bitcoin. He bought $1.57 billion of Bitcoin again. So classic Michael Saylor. And then the other thing that I wanted to mention as well is for the community, Sunday evenings, I'm going to organize a weekly game night in the community. So I've been playing, speaking of airdrops, I've been playing games on Abstract just to qualify for some airdrops. And then I found some games that are actually fun. And so I think it'd be fun to have like a Sunday night games night for the community. We can all like hop into like a Google Meet or, whatever, some kind of thing where you can all just kind of hang out with each other and then play some games, earn some XP over on Abstract for their eventual airdrop as well. And then just kind of like hang out. And then we can talk strategies and like which games we like and stuff and kind of help each other out, get higher scores because then you get more XP and do all that kind of stuff. So we'll plan on doing that. Let's see. Am I here this Sunday? Obviously I have to be here for this Sunday. I should be. Yeah, I'll be here this Sunday. So we'll do the first one this Sunday. We'll pick a time later.
Excellent. And the last thing I know you wanted to address was a disappointing post, a take from Altcoin Daily.
I'll do it later. That's going to require a rant, and I got to get going.
He's got to get going. He's your friend, and he's mine, ladies and gentlemen, Mr.
I love bagging on Altcoin Daily, though.
I know, right? It's nice.
We'll see you tonight on Market Watch, yeah?
Yeah, see you tonight. Bye, everybody. See you at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time tonight for Market Watch.
Huzzah.
Huzzah.
Huzzah! If you want a preview of that tweet, I see Will's comments. You can follow him on Twitter at CoinGuideWW. And just to prep you, if you don't own at least 0.01 Bitcoin, you have failed as an investor is the take. Study it, react to it, share your thoughts with Will and Doug, a.k.a. Von. Been a while since we pulled that one out on Market Watch tonight. Alex, I know we wanted to talk about Clarity Act, stalling, CBDCs, but I also saw that you had a little action in the comments here responding to a great question. Do you want to read the audience in on this?
I've done that several times, so you're going to have to be more specific.
This is a question from straight Don _Bo. Good to see you. If I get a crazy return on my crypto that's in a cold wallet, how do I cash out? What are the proper steps, please?
So let's do two answers because that is a good one to cover. But also there was someone asking about whether or not they need an LLC. And so I pulled up a few metrics that you can keep in your head if you are hearing this, you need a trust or an LLC. And honestly, like the footnote on this is that almost all the time for most people, the LLC trust thing is a grift. I can tell you that through a business venture of mine a while ago, I ended up with a personal trust, a very specific kind of trust. The number of times that I have used it to a specific tax advantage for myself is extremely low, and it's mostly just more work. And I like, if I was in a position where like someone said, hey, this thing that you have, here's how much you're going to pay me and I'll set this thing up for you. And here's what it's supposed to do for you on paper. Like knowing what I know now, I would not pay for it. It just doesn't really work that way. So the footer is you should really only be considering some sort of specific tax advantage structure if you're talking about millions of dollars. And I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm not speaking with hyperbole. I mean, literally like millions of dollars that you're concerned about. Otherwise, these things are sold as like a way to shelter yourself. You still have to file taxes. My trust has its own tax return. I have to file separately every single year. And it's mostly like a pain. So, there are instances where they can be beneficial. Do not get me wrong. But for the most part, like if what you're concerned about is protecting crypto that you are holding, it's not really going to help you. And to be very honest, and again, this is just sort of my speculation based on how mine has worked and how I've had to file paperwork for it and how like accountants have been involved. I think it paints a bigger target on you. Like if you're someone who's like concerned about this and like the IRS was doing like a random sweep looking for like people to audit and they saw someone who like had all these weird structures as just like someone with no business and no whatever and just like holding money in investments, they would be probably concerned and have questions for you. Not that you're doing anything wrong, it's just unnecessary, and might get, attention that you'd rather not have to deal with. So please be careful. It's very, very easy to go online to any of the major LLMs or just honestly run a Google search and ask the question, like, when do I need a trust? And, there's a bajillion different kinds of trusts. So, the specific terms and types are very important. Or an LLC to protect my crypto from taxes or something like that. And you'll get a list of, bullet point requirements that, would be widely considered to be the standard. And bullet point number 1 is, multiple millions of dollars held in these assets. So please just keep that in mind the next time you see someone on TikTok Live hawking LLC and trust products to you for a nominal fee. You don't need one, most likely.
And often it's a scam.
And if you do need one, don't buy one from a guy on TikTok Live who's hawking it to you.
No. The only thing you should be buying on TikTok Live is an Arculus wallet, and you should be using the code RUMS10. ARCURUMS10
or that thing that I've seen about 400 million videos for, where you microwave grilled cheese sandwiches. I would say Arculus wallet and the microwavable grilled cheese sandwich thing.
I'm sorry. What?
Someone else who's like chronically online, back me up here. That commercial, that TikTok shop product has been everywhere on my feed lately.
That is wild.
I'll have to send you one.
I have seen, so many products. That one sounds great. I also see that TikTok Shop right now specifically is doing a couple of like 40% off coupons for people, other kinds of things. It looks like there are really good. I've seen free samples if you're somebody who's like a seller or whatever. So check it out. Arculus.
I have to highlight this comment from Jessica too, just before we get away from it. You don't need a lawyer to set up an LLC or file a will.
That's right.
Thank you. Jessica is someone that I would ask a question to, and she would give you an honest answer about, when is something more, relevant with regards to your tax strategy. But yeah, that's correct. I mean, Rise Up Media is an LLC. We did not engage someone and spend thousands of dollars to get it set up. We did it online. And guess what? It's legal, fully recognized. Like it's everything about it is official. You don't need to pay a guy on TikTok Live thousands of dollars to do it for you.
No, it's a scam sometimes.
Yeah.
Many times. They are trying to leverage the trust we have built to take your money. My friends, don't fall for it. Also, I'm seeing here that it looks like we got a couple of live warnings about the Arculus, so they've taken it off. I'm sure there's a misunderstanding. If you want to find the Arculus product, you can go to @ThisIsArculus on every social: Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and their URL is getarculus.com. Okay, the last story of the day before we give our final thoughts is that there is a temporary, this is two things, two pieces of policy. Alex, I'm going to just quickly read in the CBDC and then pass it over to you for everything else. The Senate has advanced a housing bill with a temporary ban on central bank digital currencies. This is like one of 3 kind of big crypto policies that have been on the table for a minute. The Genius Act, that's been passed. Clarity Act, that could be stalled. And this temporary
it is
ban,
stalled.
Got it. For sure? Forever?
Yes.
For always?
For a good while. It's extremely
My understanding is
will...
we think that the Senate Banking Committee, read me into this and tell me I'm wrong, is going to reject it. They have rejected it.
It is procedurally stalled now. It is extremely unlikely that it passes in 2026. They missed a filing deadline, and negotiations are not going well. So there is almost no reason. So it's just one of those things. It is technically possible that it comes back, but it would take a lot. And now the substance is not agreed upon. Banks still have a very outsized weight of influence, just like crypto companies do. They're already starting to pack up and contribute to. We're already like entering election season, which is so obnoxious about how the U.S. does all this. It's insane. This doesn't happen in other countries, but there you go. Welcome to America. And it is stalled. It is extremely unlikely that it passes in 2026.
Yeah. Okay.
Which, to be clear, is not necessarily a bad thing because as it stands, that bill sucks. So
yeah. But it falls in the category of.
So you're telling me there's a chance,
basically. Yeah. Like, okay. And the CBDC thing, it sounded like, what do they call those? Omnibus, the 21st Century Road to Housing Act, which had a ton of stuff in it. It sounded like they just kind of were like, oh, hey, snap, everybody's going to vote for this. Let's throw that CBDC thing in there. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. The White House is back to that bill. They have said the president would sign it in its current form. They have shared concerns that a central bank digital currency could threaten personal privacy and liberty. And I don't know about you, but my take is I think it's likely that with time left in the term, the president is trying to position USD1, which is World Liberty Financial's stablecoin, as the recipient of any kind of government beneficence, so that if we had a CBDC or a government endorsed stable coin, it would probably be that one. What do you think? Mm-hmm. I feel like that's the most confident I am about anything that's totally speculative, because that's speculative, but it seems like what he's trying to do.
Yeah, and on paper, by the way, this ban is in effect until December of 2030 as it stands, which just specifically prevents the Fed from issuing a CBDC as it is colloquially defined. Notably, it does not ban stablecoins. So I've seen a little bit of that floating around, which is just stupid and proof that people can't read.
Yeah, but that seems like the likely thing is like, okay, let's ban CBDCs. Let's eliminate competition from the government that I run in order to incubate this thing that my family runs, so that with my power, I can transfer, when it's time, I can position it, eliminate competition.
That is specifically and exactly what is going on here. It is that the royal family has a product that would be hindered, kneecapped, or out-competed by something, and they are exercising their authority to prevent competition and securing their profit line.
I really like what Jessica said. If I get any CBDC funds, I'll immediately swap it for Bitcoin. Alex, maybe this is a good plug for trust issues coming up tomorrow. Is if you've got more questions about the Clarity Act, if you want to talk about these things in detail, check out past episodes of Rise Up Trust Issues and look forward to them every Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Alex, Emily, and their friends take on the most riveting conversational topics. I'm talking about congressional bills, how money works.
We're talking about legislation, everyone's favorite.
Alex, before we do our final thoughts, do you want to tackle this question that we teased about? I've got a cold storage wallet.
Yes.
I've just had a windfall, and I want to turn my crypto back into cash or maybe some usable form. A, B, C, D. What are my options for an exit path?
Yes. And also, Leif just said CBD, check mark. CBDC, no bueno.
Can we get that THC BDC? Where's that? Okay, all right. So you need an exit because you're flush. First of all, congratulations. Your candles are green.
Yep.
Now what do you do? Because it's not profit unless you take it. How do I take it, Alex? Like, what do I got to do? Let's assume for the purpose of this conversation that it is in a volatile cryptocurrency. It's Bitcoin or it's ETH or it's Harry Potter, Sonic, Obama, Inu, and time is ticking. It's up. The market is up, and I feel like an urgent, pressing need to take some profits.
Yeah. So the simple answer, which sounds like a smart ass one, is sell it. This crypto is being custodied in a wallet that is maybe not quite as mobile as a hot wallet if it's in cold storage. So you might have an intermediate step. Many cold wallets do have a swap interface that's worth looking at, but check the feed before you do anything for sure, just because oftentimes trading is limited to specific assets. They don't necessarily connect to all of the same stuff that a hot wallet might, which is good. That's by design. Just to be clear, that's not what we want cold wallets to be doing or for. So, one thing that you could do, the easiest way to do it, just to make sure that you get the best rate at the best fee structure in the most timely manner, is to take the crypto that you are interested in taking profits on or selling, If it's a certain percentage of something you're holding, let's just say for argument's sake that you've got a lot of Bitcoin and you want to sell, you've got a Bitcoin and you want to sell half of it. Transfer half of it out to, honestly, kind of whatever you're interested in. Your centralized exchange account, your Kraken account, if that's what you're running or whatever, and sell it there. There's nothing wrong with that. There's a fee for selling pretty much everywhere. So it really depends what the asset is, what the cheapest, fastest, most secure place is for you to do the swap. If it's ETH, maybe you want to pull it out, put it in a hot wallet and swap it through Uniswap or through Aerodrome or, whatever. So it's kind of hard to answer specifically without knowing the specifics. But the short answer is you sell it just like you do anything else. You just might have an intermediate step of transferring it into a different wallet first. So, you just got to be careful when you're running a transfer. Anytime you're transferring crypto, you got to make sure we're double, triple, quadruple checking that address. It's going to the right place. Maybe we send a little test transaction first to make sure it gets to the place where I'm sending it. And then we don't want to be sending it more than once. So we want to know where we're going to go first, because that is the place that I know I'm going to get the best fee, the most efficient swap, whatever. And then, of course, just keep track of how much profit you're making.
Yeah, that's that's important. A lot of wallets will do this for you, but in case they don't, you could do it with a pencil and a paper and a notebook. And I just want to add, Alex, that it's important for people to have a backup plan. If you want specific, like step-by-step help with this, good. We can do it for you. But like Alex said, we need to know more about your specific situation. If you are an Arculus user, if you are a Trezor user, if you're a MetaMask user, if you're a Coinbase user, if you're a Binance user, the steps are mostly the same, but your particular interface is going to make it a little different. And we can walk you through all of it, but we're going to need some more information to make it relevant to you so that you'll say, oh my God, that's exactly what I needed. Now, I'm going to give you 2 resources that'll help you get closer to that. The best resource, of course, is community.rumshq.com. And when you get there, we have a handy dandy search bar at the top. If you type in Arculus cold wallet tutorials, we have a variety of tutorials specifically for your Arculus wallet, including how to set up a wallet, how to send crypto, moving assets from an exchange like Coinbase, Kraken, a wallet like MetaMask to your Arculus wallet, and then back the other way, and how to sell your crypto and turn it back into cash if you're using Arculus. As I said, the steps are going to differ for your specific cold or hot wallet, your specific exchange. But the good news is the concepts are similar no matter what you're using. And the concepts are what's important to know because, Coinbase could go out of business. I don't think it's likely, but it could happen. And if it did, you would want to know how to create a Kraken account or how to use Binance or something else. The concepts will transfer. More than knowing how do I get money from Uphold into Trezor, you need to understand how to send, how to receive, how to store crypto securely, and how to turn it back into cash so you can figure it out no matter where you go. So thank you for the question, for trusting us to help. If you need more help, the second resource that you can also find through the community is we do offer one-on-one, any kind of help you need, coaching sessions. If you want to hear Alex walk you through the profit-taking steps, or maybe you just need to hear him say Arculus for 90 minutes, then you can get that. That would be a tough coaching session.
That would be a questionable use of your money.
Yeah, but if you got $50 million to swap into an Aave loss, then maybe you want to spend some time with Alex talking like a pirate. I don't know.
Maybe that's what you want.
Either way, we can do it for you. And this is an opportunity to shout out the premium members, the people who make our show possible, the very best part of what we do. Did you know you can get a free premium trial in our community? And you can, for 10 days, you can get totally free. You can get discounts on those coaching sessions, and then it's just $30 a month. Plus, it comes with other stuff like free group coaching and office hours every single week. $30 a month for time with me, with Alex, with Will, with all the great members of our community, and might indeed be worth it. You can pay Alex to do phone messages.
Maybe that's
reads.
A new premium feature. Is I'll do your voicemail.
At RUMSHQ
I called this guy once. That was a contractor for something, and his voicemail was just, what? Beep.
I love it. I love it. I agree with Tori. We could do it for the premium members because they are our very favorite sponsors. So shout out one more time to Arculus. Thank you for renewing your trust in us and partnering with the show to make great education possible. We got another great week of shows coming up. You know what I mean. Another great show coming up tomorrow. Market watches tonight. Alex, do you have a final thought on the way out the door before we ride our dogs and ponies into the sunset?
Oh, man. I feel like we got through a lot of stuff. I didn't think we were going to be able to hit everything in one shot, but by God, we did it. And I find I don't know. I was going to make my final thought was going to be that question because I thought we weren't going to get to it, but no.
No, we pretty much got to everything.
Everybody in the community. I'm personally counting down the days to where this is my full-time gig and only. We are approximately 14 days away, so that's very exciting.
It was 13.
Well, that's work days, but like technically calendar days. We're preparing mentally, spiritually, and physically for consensus. If you happen to find yourself heading to Miami in and around the beginning of May, let us know. We would love to maybe do some sort of like a little impromptu hangout meetup of some kind somewhere. Go get dinner or something like that. I am trying to wrangle some conference tickets as well because we've had offers from partners to get us tickets, which we do not need to the conference. Perks of going as media. So stay tuned because I'm going to try to run like a giveaway. If anyone's going to be there and would be interested in potentially winning a ticket to consensus, let us know, and I will try to. I'm working on trying to make that happen. No promises yet, but that's the goal, to try to get a couple tickets. So
Jessica says, "Awesome." I agree.
They are not cheap. They are not cheap tickets to get to this conference in particular. So I'll see. I'm hoping. I mean, they were offered to us for free, so I'm hoping like, hey, give them to me, and I'll put them to good use. And then, it would be if you haven't been to a conference like this is the best one. My honest advice is like not to waste your time and money going to a Bitcoin conference. It's going to disappoint you. They're popular, like people go to them, but like you're not going to walk away with anything except, wow, there's a lot of Bitcoin maxis at that Bitcoin conference. Whereas these other ones are interesting. There's a lot more diversity in like the number of companies that show up, the talks that happen, the people that you get a chance to meet and talk to.
And Miami is like a crypto capital of the United States and the world.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Funny, they've never had to brand themselves that way or make out a whole campaign about how Miami is going to become the crypto capital of anything. They just kind of like did stuff that's actually stuff.
Wait. No. Yes, they did. Do you remember the mayor?
Of course I do. But you know what he backed it up with? Shit, stuff, things, actual incentives. Like they did stuff. Also, Suarez is probably not the best example because
he's a little
really shady stuff. Yeah. Just
a
little bit.
When you said you were going to work on, you said I'll work on getting tickets to this conference after saying something that made me think you were going to endeavor fiercely. I thought you were going to say,
I will absolutely die on this hill.
A little sad you didn't.
I will.
You will die on this hill. Okay, my final thought on the way out the door is if you want to know how to become a premium member, because I saw 3 questions asking this, you got to remember the link I'm always saying, community.rumshq.com. And once you get there, Alex, hit them with the screen share in podcast land. Just remember this. You can go to any channel after you've created an account, but whether you're using a browser on your phone or computer, or you're in the app, if you go through the little cute channels on the side, there's a premium start here. Or you can click any channel with the word premium in it, and it will tell you more information about premium. It will give you a link to sign up. It will teach you all the things, if you are a premium member, that you can do, like booking a discounted coaching session, getting courses at a discount, all that stuff. And more can be yours at community.rumshq.com. ethereumfoundation.com. We would love to see you there. And if you have questions, just say, hey, I saw the tutorial, but Evan, I don't know what to do. Help. We'll find you. Thank you so much. Palmer says, well worth the time and resources. He is the chief fact check officer, the chief carrot officer, and one of the very best parts as a premium member and a friend of the community. So until next time, thank you, everybody, for your time, for your attention. We got to go. Stay safe. Be well. Come back for more tomorrow. Until then, everybody, rise up.